Good evening, I'm Ryan Bonazzo.
And I'm Catalina Gillies. The new capacity restrictions for large entertainment venues introduced by the province yesterday are causing local event organizers to backpedal.
The most high-profile event that's been impacted by the decision to limit large events to half capacity is the upcoming Scotties Tournament of Hearts. Ticket sales have now been halted for the event, with well over 50% of seats already sold. Corey Nordstrom has the story.
The Scotties Tournament of Hearts in Thunder Bay has already been delayed a year, and organizers are preparing to have the seating capacity cut in half.
We're still excited about the possibilities, but we had really hoped that this event would be a getting back to normal party for Thunder Bay and getting people together and having a good time.
The latest announcement by the province affects all indoor venues of 1,000 or more people, dealing a significant blow to the 10-day event at Fort William Gardens beginning January 28th. Event staff have stopped selling tickets and will provide more information on refunds to ticket holders in late January.
Know the details on 50% yet, so we're going to just have to ask people to be patient with us. We don't know whether that includes volunteers and staff and the numbers, the exact numbers. So we're not going to jump into any refund movement right initially.
Krista McCarville's rink is the odds-on favorite to represent Team Northern Ontario at the event. She was looking forward to a packed rink in her hometown.
Everyone feeds off the crowd, and if we happen to be Team Northern Ontario, I mean, we want a full crowd there. We want to feel that roar and the cheering on our side, and whoever, they're cheering for, you do get excited for the cheering, and to know that it's only going to be 50% is disappointing.
Meanwhile, the Thunder Bay Community Auditorium, a 1,500-seat venue, has had to cancel 12 upcoming shows. General Manager Bob Halvorsen says frustration is high for his staff and fans alike, but there's confusion about how the rules apply to them, with options to easily retract their size under 1,000 seats.
If we were to close the balcony and the mezzanine, our capacity could be 900 instead of 750. So is that the capacity? And we currently have a call into the Thunder Bay District Health Unit to clarify exactly what this means in terms of social distancing.
That means the Thunder Bay Symphony Orchestra will no longer be returning to the Auditorium stage after a 2-year hiatus. The news coming just days before the tickets for their February shows were to go on sale. Officials say they are working on possible venue changes, but will know more in a day or so. Corey Nordstrom, TBT News.
COVID-19 cases have stabilized in the Thunder Bay District in recent days, but that's not the case in the Northwestern Health Unit. It's reporting a steep rise today. There are 24 new infections in that part of the region. 12 are in the Fort Frances Health Hub area, 10 come from the Kenora Health Hub, and 2 come from the Rainy River area. There are now 61 active cases across the NWHU, with 3 people in hospital.
The Thunder Bay District Health Unit is reporting 6 new cases, 4 in the Thunder Bay area and 2 from elsewhere in the district. 2 of the cases are related to travel outside of northwestern Ontario, and 4 exposure sources are still unknown at this time. There's also 1 new hospitalization. 3 people from the district are currently hospitalized, with 1 in the ICU. The number of active cases has fallen to 60.
Also today, the health unit says it's currently dealing with a shortage of the Pfizer vaccine at its CLE clinic. There are enough doses to administer young people aged 5 to 17, but anyone 18 and older over the next day or 2 will likely receive the Moderna shot. The health unit notes it's completely safe to mix doses of mRNA vaccines with no negative impact on effectiveness. Health officials are urging people not to cancel their appointments.
It isn't the news that Ontarians wanted to hear today. The province's science advisory table says we could be headed for the toughest wave of the pandemic yet. Officials say the rapid spread of the Omicron variant could lead to 10,000 cases a day by New Year's Eve, unless the province reduces contacts by at least 50%. Colin DeMello has the details.
The climb in COVID-19 cases today is steep. 2,400 new infections, and the latest modeling is predicting some of the worst outcomes of the entire pandemic are still ahead.
There is still some uncertainty, but there's also an undeniable urgency. Waiting to take action means waiting till it is too late to take action.
Even the best case scenarios are bleak. Without intervention, Ontario could see 10,000 cases a day before the end of the year, sending more people into intensive care. But with a circuit breaker, the modeling says case counts could be brought down to under 5,000 per day.
We will need to reduce contacts between people. I believe we can do this without closing schools or shutting down businesses that have suffered during previous waves. But it will take serious restrictions that reduce contacts.
Yesterday, the province introduced a number of measures, cutting down capacity limits for indoor venues that can seat more than 1,000 people, including cinemas, event spaces, casinos, festivals, and sports venues. And the province will also open up boosters to everyone 18 plus as of December 20th, and will shorten the interval between the second and third dose to 3 months.
Public health measures nor vaccinations will be enough on their own to blunt the Omicron wave. Public health measures will slow the spread of Omicron, but they are not sustainable in the long run. Vaccination provides our exit plan from the pandemic, but it takes a while to take effect.
The province's science advisors are also correcting the chief medical officer of health, who said yesterday the Omicron variant has the potential to spread through the air.
We're very concerned that there could be much more aerosol spread than other strains. We always assumed that there was a component of spread. Dr.
Peter Juni says that has always been the case.
It's not more airborne, it has always been airborne. All these, they're all the SARS-CoV-2 viruses from the beginning showed predominantly airborne transmission.
The advisors say better masks are required in order to better protect against Omicron. Colin DeMello, CTV News.
Thunder Bay Police Chief Sylvie Hauth presented her case for a new city police headquarters last night at a virtual ward meeting hosted by McKellar councillor Brian Hamilton. The police force has hired local PR firm Firedog Communications to help build support for the major project from city officials and members of the community. Hauth and Firedog provided a PowerPoint explanation for why city police need a new space. Besides the physical limitations and safety issues at the current Balmoral headquarters, a new $56 million building would be a hub for community partnerships to tackle the ongoing issues in the city. Hauth believes the new headquarters isn't just a want anymore, it's a need.
Give a tour to 100,000 people here in Thunder Bay to give them kind of the first-hand look as to our current facility. But I can attest that there's definitely very alive and present risk and liabilities to the way that we currently function as a service and what we do ask of our members to do on a day-to-day basis in those four walls.
Hauth also wanted to make it clear to the community that the cost of the new building won't affect the amount they pay in taxes, despite the hefty price tag. All the details so far can be found on the City Police website, with an information campaign being launched as well.
Meanwhile, members of the police service have spent the last 4 days at the Victoria Inn taking part in what's being called reconciliation training. Officials hope it's a step toward regaining the trust of the city's Indigenous community. And officers who participated say they now feel better equipped to serve and protect the entire Thunder Bay population. Danielle Bain reports.
Call it the first step in a path towards reconciliation. About 20 Thunder Bay police officers have wrapped up a 4-day training session, and while they won't share specifics, they say it involved education about Indigenous culture, offering a chance to join in on traditions and teachings. Community Inclusion Team Coordinator Jan Ritchie said he's pleased with the inaugural session.
Very, very impactful, very powerful, very spiritual. And there's like a lot of love, a lot of good teachings, a lot of learning from each other. And yeah, it's very, very impactful.
The mandatory training was created specifically for the Thunder Bay Police. Chief Sylvie Hauth, who hopes to train more than 300 staff members over the next 2 years, is excited to see the impact it has.
How does it impact now with a different lens, what they see, what they hear, how they interact, and how those changes can be made daily in those interactions with community members.
Constable Kade Kampela believes he and his colleagues will benefit from the training moving forward.
I think it'll give me a new appreciation for those same populations, and some of the conversations that I've had before, looking back in hindsight, I'm thinking about different questions I could have asked or different comments I could have made.
People are open. people have been willing to share, people have been vulnerable. So I think that is important in terms of ensuring that the work that we're doing in this training is meaningful and that it's actually hitting home and resonating. So I'm pleasantly, I don't want to say surprised, but very much touched by the reaction of all the members.
The plan is to get the next group of officers trained in January, followed by a third group in February. Danielle Bain, TBT News.
A donation bin is usually for things like clothing, books, housewares, or furniture. But this morning, a loaded handgun was found inside a donation bin at the local Value Village. Thunder Bay police officers were dispatched to the used clothing store on Memorial Avenue at 9:15 this morning after receiving reports that a small silver, fully loaded .22 caliber handgun was found in the donation bin out front of the store. Police arrived and the firearm was safely seized. While there's currently no firearm amnesty program in the city, Thunder Bay police are urging the public to surrender weapons safely to police through their contact phone number and not by bringing them into the Balmoral headquarters.
The president of the Northwestern Ontario Municipal Association is welcoming the province's announcement of a 2+1 highway in northeastern Ontario. The new alignment is meant to improve highway safety with an alternating passing lane. Transportation Minister Caroline Mulroney was in North Bay this week to announce the pilot project. The idea will be tested on 2 sections of Highway 11 between North Bay and Temiskaming Shores. The new design features a center passing lane divided by barriers, which changes direction of use every 2 to 5 kilometers. The price tag is far cheaper than 4-laning by about $1 to $3 million per kilometer. NOMA President Wendy Landry has been advocating for 2+1 highways for several years, and although she was hoping to see the pilot project here in this region, she understands the decision and is excited to see how well it works.
Being realistic, understand, feasibility study-wise, financially, it's a big investment, and so they've done their work, they've done their research, and they've determined this area to be the perfect place for their first pilot. So let's hope it goes well, and then it comes to Northwestern Ontario as well.
Design work for the pilot should be completed in January, and construction will take about 3 to 4 years. Once finished, it will be the first 2+1 highway in North America.
The regional food bank's holiday hampers are being handed out today and tomorrow. And one of the locations working with the RFDA this afternoon was the Salvation Army's Journey to Life Center. The hamper program for individuals and couples has been running since 2013, with Christmas cheer shifted its focus to families with children. The RFDA usually gets registrations for around 1,200 holiday hampers, which are packaged and distributed at local food banks and other places like the Journey to Life Center. Executive Director Gary Ferguson says they expected to hand out around 175 hampers to the people who lined up outside today. And he says it allows people to get proper nutrition during the holiday season.
Really important. As we all know, Christmas is not a nice time for everybody in the community, and many people go without. So we're very happy that we can play our part and contribute to people's Christmases.
Meanwhile, the Salvation Army's Christmas kettles have just over a week to go in order to reach their goal of $235,000. As of this afternoon, the kettle campaign was still about $110,000 short of that target, and Ferguson says more volunteers are needed.
The Thunder Bay Business Women's Network has donated a large amount of feminine hygiene products to the underground gym to help out those in need. Thanks to overwhelming support and donations from the community, the Business Women's Network has been able to provide about $500 worth of feminine hygiene products, plus another $3,000 worth of other items for girls who go to the underground gym. Through feedback from local youth, organizers realized that hygiene products have been harder to access during the pandemic, so these ones that are being offered at the underground gym will be available for free.
Was first to mind, so I think that the girls here, right, those are, we want to remove those barriers to access to feminine products.
A lot of them, unfortunately, do not have enough. I've had requests for, believe it or not, paper towels, all these different things to accommodate that need, which is sad.
The children that come here, right, they come here for a reason. The underground gym has a purpose in our community to help the underprivileged, right? So those are the kids that need it. Let's help one another.
It will be a very happy new year for someone. This month's Health Sciences Foundation Thunder Bay 50/50 prize money has officially entered life-changing territory. As of this afternoon, the jackpot sat at more than $1.17 million. It's the first time that it's surpassed $1 million, and there's still 2 weeks to go until the draw date on New Year's Eve. Foundation President Glenn Craig says there's no telling how high it might climb. The success of the fundraiser since its inception last year has surpassed his wildest expectations. He believes the fact that many people in the region actually know someone who has won has helped them buy in.
Friend of my mother's, or something to this, or used to babysit me, or used to babysit for them, or whatever. Like it really is a local effort, and we've had some winners across northwestern Ontario, but people know the winners, and I think that really helps. This is a reality. These are not faceless people. These are our friends, our neighbors, the people we see in the hockey rinks, people we see around town. So I think people really believe, hey, why not? It could be me.
The fundraiser helps support the purchase of vital hospital equipment to help the people of northwestern Ontario. Last month, the foundation announced $4.1 million worth of investments due largely to the 50/50 draw. Tickets are available on the foundation's website.